everybody, and welcome back. This is Vampire: The Transylvania Chronicles here on Dork Tales, or at least it will be very soon. We have been off for quite a while, and in order to refresh you, which is a little superfluous since you can probably just go back and rewatch the episodes and generate us ad revenue, so please go do that. But to help us figure out what the hell we're doing, we're having a little catch-up episode, we're having an AMA, and ask us anything. We don't have to answer it, but go ahead and start asking in the chat, and we're going to introduce ourselves and then start chatting with you and figuring out where we are going from here. So consider this to be a nice, fun, behind-the-scenes intermission episode. Who are we? We're Dork Tales, and I am your storyteller, Kelly. I use he and him, and I'm very excited to be finally getting back to Dark Tides Rising. And yeah, we've been off for
Dark Tides Rising?
Dark Tides Rising for about 3 months now. So it's really great to be heading back into Vampire the Masquerade with one of the only vampire crews I would actually enjoy playing with. So thank you guys for being here. Let's go ahead and meet everybody, starting with Robin.
Hello, I'm Robin. I use she, her pronouns, and I am very excited to I pulled out my notes for my lovely Zamisi Tereza Dinescu, which I actually don't think I've made a family crest. I think I have ideas, but I don't think I've actually made one. So I need to make a family crest. I think that is for sure. But yeah, Tereza uses she, her pronouns for now. I am Zamisi, of course, so, you know. Pronouns are as gender as the...
Pronouns are as gender as the river flows upward.
Pronouns are as fluid as the blood that I drink is what I was trying to say. I am very tired. I did not sleep well last night, and I just read some notes about things that happened at the end of last game, so I'm glad we're doing a check-in because I've totally forgot things that happened and I want to murder.
It's good. Murder is always great. And speaking of murder, it's good that we have a priest on hand because Chris wore his costume by accident.
I didn't get the memo until it was too late. Actually, no, it wasn't too late. I was just like, by the time I realized, I was like, screw it. It's already done. So,
practice the makeup. It's always good.
I'm getting better. Contouring. No, that's
just what that just happens when you're a father, as far as I understand.
This is true.
No, that's more gray. Hi, I'm Chris. I use he, him, or they, them pronouns. Go by Blogg in the chat. Really, really excited to be back into this, obviously. And yeah, this is fun. I can't wait to get back into it. I play Rainald, the our resident priest La Sombra.
Resident priest La Sombra.
Yep.
Sorry. Every time you say resident, it's every time it's in my head.
Resident evil priest.
Perfect. And yes, I don't know what's in the box, but I want to know what's in the box one day. One
day. You know who probably knows what's in the box? It's Kal.
Hello, everybody. I'm excited to be here. I went through like 5 weeks of actually crippling nerve pain, so that's where I've been.
Thanks, Tereza.
I could not even like sit at a computer. Like, it couldn't even play games. It was like wild, or like do this, like hands just free, just sitting. It was terrible. And
how did you do that? Did you just wake up?
I just woke up and started
woke up in your 30s,
and then woke up in my 30s. Yeah.
Did you forget to take your Advil before bed?
I forgot to take my Advil before bed.
Millennial multivitamins is what we call them.
Yeah, I'm excited to get back into this. The physio worked, and I'm also excited to be DMing Avernus.
It's true. Descent into Avernus begins in a mere 6 days over on Patreon. It's going to be pretty fantastic, guys. You should definitely sign up to watch Kal DM. If you want an example of how bad Kal was going through, Kal managed to limp through onyxpath in June and ran a game. And he's high as a like he's so high on painkillers.
It took me days to remember what I ran.
But
I mean,
no, it's fine. I was on multiple stuff, but it's very clear that I was, yeah, I was
You're
on
happy.
Rocket
Man.
9.
Not
I was Rocket Man. Yeah,
Rocket Man. You're gonna be
it was
as
as a kite. And
Wow.
yeah, I'm good. I usually play Bastien, and he's got other things. He's got other problems. Not nerve pain though, so that's good.
a nerve pain. Speaking of other problems, it's Jen. And they're
Is
pigs.
it me or Alëna that's the other problem?
It's either way, Taylor Swift. Either way, boar on the floor, hog on the log. Let's go.
Yes.
There we go. Hi, I'm Jen. I use she, her pronouns, and I generally play Alëna, our gang girl, our lovable gang girl, feral girl, who is not impressed at being forced into social situations or ruling over places. But, here she is.
Nice. And folks, so ask us any questions you have in the chat, and if you're watching later, ask us in the comments. I'll try to answer. I'm going to inform you right now what's in the box. Are you ready? You guys have been asking for so long, and I'm sick of it.
I
I'm
wanna
finally going
know.
to tell you. It's our sponsor, Bookworm Games. Hey, you didn't see that coming, did you? Bookworm Games is our sponsor yet again, and they are a fantastic sponsor indeed. Not only are they a wonderful sponsor, they can be your supplier of dice. That's right. If you head to them right now, you can not only get more points to spend if you're watching live, because I'll double well, you won't get more points, you'll just get double the value, because I'll double the number of redemptions that you get for your points here on the channel. That includes experience points for these lovely vampires, these fierce and ferocious vampires. You will also be able to get some really good dice, including some World of Darkness inspired ones. They are a fantastic, fantastic sponsor, and I'm going to have some stuff coming out from them real soon, including some Dork Tales D10 sets. I know you've been wanting them. If you can help us figure out an idea for... Oh, why don't we have vampire dice with a coffin on them? Or a big box?
Well, like a coffin for a 1? Or a 10?
Yeah, I don't know. Probably the 10, because it opens to more things. But Bookworm Bees is fantastic.
I was going to say
you can-
1 because you're going to fail.
that's fair.
You're dead. You're rolling for death. You're getting closer to the grave.
Closer to the grave. You can save 15% using code DorkTales on their site, so head there right now. Thanks again to Bookworm Games for being amazing. And also, we've got like a little baby sponsorship from Monument Studios. They are a little 2-person music operation that does amazing music. They do the opening song for this very game, and also they were doing commission series before. And Robin and I both pitched a bunch of ideas, and they took Robin's idea and did a free theme song for her for Tereza. So Tereza has her own theme song that will be used later down the line. They have a Kickstarter that's going to be
It's called
starting.
Dinescu's Final Form, which I love so much.
Ooh.
Oh my god, I didn't
God.
realize that was the name. That's
I didn't
awesome.
know it was the name. That's beautiful.
Who's the Goku to Teresa's Frieza?
Who is the Goku to... that's a good question.
You need to find a rival.
Sasha Vikos?
Rainald.
No, it's probably Rainald. So one thing, I'll pop this in the chat right now, and down below in the link if you're watching on YouTube. This is a Google Drive folder where you can get some free music. They have a villain-themed album called Wrath that is coming out, and there's some free tracks for you to use. They have given them to me to give to you. So, hey, go check out their Kickstarter. It is at Monument Studios, Fantasy Plus, the future of tabletop RPG audio. So if you go to Kickstarter, you can join it. It's launching very soon. So thanks, Monument Studios. You guys are great, and I look forward to using a lot more of your music. I've been using them for like 3 years now, and I'm not going to stop. They're wonderful. Okay, so now that we're done with the beginning of this, why don't we... let's talk. So, what has happened so far is that we are like a quarter of the way through this book right here, which my green screen's eating. Transylvania Chronicles, Dark Tides Rising. So, long story short, we got through the first section of the book where you all went to the Tehuda Pass, which later becomes something else, and raised a fortress to defend taxation and the oncoming threats from the east. You were working underneath the Zemisi faction under Mircea Zardescu, Lord Protector of Zardrev Castle. You also had a number of things happen there. For one, Rainald ate a bunch of people. In fact, everybody but Bastien committed diablerie, so that's fun.
You monsters.
You monsters.
I can't judge for what I
never
don't
denied
know.
that.
This is true.
Yeah, have you
I
met
embrace
Tereza? She's a monster.
Everybody's redeemable.
Everybody's redeemable, except for...
Fool me once. Shame on you. Fool me like over 800 years. Oh, we'll see.
And speaking of, Robin, you're mentioning Lady D in the chat. You see what t-shirt I'm wearing? Castle Dimitrescu Wineries.
Nice.
All right. So, long story short, you managed to solidify your hold on that region. You were able to build the castle, well, the fortress, and had to accept the help of Micah Vikos. From there, time passed. Bastien became the Prince of Belgrade. Alëna became the Prince of Schasberg. Tereza became the Prince of Kronstadt, and Rainald remained as the regent and overseer at the Tehuda Pass. From there, we jumped ahead quite a bit of time. In fact, we created a cool little downtime primer that I should probably put up on Storyteller's Vault. And we jumped ahead to 1314, where a bunch of horrible things had occurred. Mostly, there were, the Knights Templar kind of ate themselves or were eaten by other people. Solot was diablerized. The Salubri were largely being hunted down in the past couple hundred years. And from there, we picked up in 1314, where the region known as Transylvania was in the heart of all manner of horrible weather. A dreadful winter, a meager spring, famine, pestilence, and more had been striking the lands. There's a lovely picture of an emaciated cow on this page. And after all that time, the architect Nosferatu Zelios...
At first, I'm sorry. At first, I thought you said emaciated cow. I was like, wait, what?
Emaciated cow. Yeah.
I was like,
Cal's on this page.
no.
Yeah, he's he's on all fours.
That's
but
exactly what I looked like when
in high
I was
school.
injured.
Oh, you were injured?
in high
Okay.
school.
In high school as well. Yeah. When you were injured in high school. All right. So the story began with you all assembling at Tereza's manse, where you met up with Zelios, the architect, who had something of a fixation on geomancy, and a demon known as Francis Ford Coppola. No, Cupola. That's what it is. I in my head, I always pronounce it Coppola, and I can't stop.
At
But-
the Copa.
No, it's Francis Ford Coppola. It's just Cosmopolis.
In the back of my copula.
It's true. So you all assembled there to go look through this book. It turned out it had a prophecy in it. It talked about Cupola. I don't know. And you were encouraged by the rants of a madman who you hadn't seen in about 200 years who arrived, and this time not Bastien, to go and try to stop Cupola. You were charged. Let's see. Zelios talked to you about a bunch of stuff, and then at the end of the night, a messenger from Micah Vikos arrived and charged you with your real mission, which was to go and, let's see. Zelios wanted you to inscribe a rune if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
Inside of several locations.
Oh, that's right. The side missions. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. There we go.
And I remember we got the other ring.
Yes. So Zelios wants you to go and help seal Kupala's power away by putting an arcane mark inside of Seoris, where it is rumored that there is a Tremere Chantry. Perfect place for these Tzimisce and Tzimiscean friends to be. So, why would you go there? Well, unfortunately, you were guided there by fate, for Mykovikos requires you to do a favor. So, you are asked to go and acquire a prisoner from Timisoara. Someone named Goratrix, and deliver them to Seoris. Now, this Goratrix is not a friend of Mykovikos. In fact, much the contrary. Micah absolutely loathes the man, which is why he wants to make sure that Goratrix is delivered to the Tremere. Because not only is this man a Tremere, he is something that the Tremere despise even more than the Salubri. A traitor. It is Micah's belief, or at least you assume, that the most delicious punishment possible would be sending him back home. Which is where we ended the last episode, with you heading out to go acquire Goratrix from Timisoara and return him to Seoris. So that's the plot. However, there's a lot of... Escort. It's an escort mission. Everybody loves those in video games.
What a conflicting mission.
Okay, can at least he walk the same pace as us? Because I fucking hate those missions. No.
You know, if you just hold X, they match pace with you.
That is not true.
That's cool. I can just pick them up and run.
Oh, sorry, that's just...
This module was written in 1990 something. None of those things would be true. Let's be fair. You would not have access to any 1998. You would have none of those options. This is where that cliche comes
module's as old as my sister.
And slightly less frustrating.
So he's faster than our walk speed, but slower than our run speed. What?
Yeah.
I hate that.
Someone tied his shoelaces together. You can't blame him.
I once played a video game. I can't remember which one it is now, and I'm sure that other ones have done this too. But it was an escort mission, and I realized about partway through that the NPC actually would run if I started running, and then would slow down if I slowed down. So I kept turning around and looking back to be like, "Oh, are they still there?" And I'm like, "Okay, they are." And I'd like wait for them to catch up and stuff. And then once I turned back while I was running, I was like, "Wait, they're running? We can just run?"
Yeah, I remember realizing that on like missions. It's like, wait, what? You can do us the whole time?
In Rockstar games, if you hold X, you just match pace.
Really?
I think the first game they did that with was the first Red Dead.
I never played the first Red Dead. I'm not gonna lie, I never did.
I was gonna say I was actually just gonna talk about
man.
Red Dead Redemption being like, yeah, that one is nice because you can. It matches.
I did not enjoy. It's not that I didn't like it. I did not enjoy my time with Red Dead 2.
I didn't beat it.
It was too much of a world simulator.
Thank you. Yeah, I kind of felt that too. I'm like, why am I skinning like a beaver? What?
I could skin a beaver in real life. I live in Canada.
I felt like there was so much to do that I did nothing.
I bought it when I was in grad school, and I actually had somebody yell at me, and like another student yelled at me in the middle of a council meeting, or like right before a council meeting, because I said I didn't like it, and they said, "Well, you just don't understand. It's real art." And I'm like, I just want to play Mario Odyssey and chill the fuck out. I'm working like 3 full-time jobs right now and going to grad school. I need a night off.
Yeah.
And they got mad at me
kill
for being
7 rattlesnakes and spend $100, you can get a snakeskin thing that lets you hold 50 more gold nuggets or something. I don't know. There were too many craftable.
That's yeah.
Oh, wait.
Anyway,
Video game
Well,
designers,
gotta have a-
stop
we got-
putting crafting in your games, please.
I mean,
I
Baldur's
don't want to
Gate did.
craft. I just want to play the goddamn game.
All right, so let's answer some questions from the chat, and then we'll talk about some behind-the-scenes plots. So first of all, what's in the box? We already said Bookworm Games. Starting from the top,
Or
let's...
Bookworm Games like Dork Tales dice. Something like
Are
that.
you did you click the Google Doc link? I
Oh my
sent?
god, I didn't. You're so cool. All right.
Well, because I started putting them in our chat, and then we were talking in our
You guys
private
were-
chat, so I
yeah.
was like, "Oh, it's getting lost."
Yeah. Well, I was getting lost too. All right, cool. Everybody, who's your favorite NPC? Don't forget that we have a drive with all the NPCs listed.
Baba.
Right?
Lana.
No, Baba, one of Alëna's pigs.
Oh yeah, Baba.
Favorite NPC, I think I really enjoyed how you did Anatole. Anatole?
Oh,
Anatole?
Anatole.
And Nicole.
Level.
I also enjoyed Sherazina.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
I was gonna say
yeah, it's too bad she's not
Sherazina
around
or
anymore.
or Lena.
Lena, that's right.
Wait, Sherazina's not around?
No, unfortunately, she vanished during the ensuing period. Alas, she is no longer around. We'll never see her face again. I'm not going to admit it. If you guys weren't watching the episodes close enough to pick up on what I'm saying, then you'll be surprised in a couple hundred years.
We're going to be surprised.
You're going to be
Yeah.
surprised. You're going to be surprised. Okay. Anybody else?
Kelly, my memory is such Swiss cheese. I can't remember NPCs from this game. Never mind whatever you're talking about.
That's fine.
Like, I can't answer this question because I don't remember.
So Baba the pig is your favorite? Baba the pig.
No, I don't have a favorite pig.
Yeah, that's
Well,
rude.
what a good mother
loves
you
them
are.
all.
Having
equally.
a favorite child. I mean, my mom has told me I'm
Right?
the favorite, but I assume she told all of her kids that.
I
I mean,
When
I
asked
think
my sister, she
Lena's
said she's
pretty
never heard of
good.
it. I like Lena.
The girl, the young girl.
the older she gets,
but
the
now
weirder
she's
she gets.
older.
Okay, let's
Belt
see.
checks out.
Yeah. What's your
Let's
favorite
see.
NPC, Kelly?
What's my favorite? Well, did everybody answer? So Jen answered, not answering. That's valid. My favorite
Yeah,
NPC
mine's Lena.
Yeah, same.
The ward
I don't-
/ bodyguard / adopted.
I mean,
Yeah, she
other
got real
than
badass.
my kids, those are obviously favorite NPCs, but they're my kids, so it's fine. They don't
You
count.
can
I
say
hate
they're
my
your
kids. They're useless.
Since Carl's a part of my character, I didn't think it was good to play him, but I remember that fight he was in last time. He did all right. You go, Carl.
Oh, that's right.
You go,
Carl.
Carl.
Oh, I
Um,
do want to throw out best boy, your firstborn son, Tereza.
Dominic?
Oh, Dominic.
But there was some because of the life saving, and he was there at the beginning, and
yeah.
he has seen us like rise, and he's in on like everything. I feel like he's maybe going to be one of the least insane Dinescus. Perhaps.
We shall see.
Least
Eventually,
insane, almost
she might embrace
insane.
him eventually.
Yeah, maybe.
I think he has
It's so
mommy issues
easy.
though.
It's vampire. Who doesn't? We're not running Game of Thrones correctly if people aren't having weird incestuous vibes. Like, I'm sorry, that's what the Zamisi are all about.
Yeah.
The only people
Should
with
see
more
my
incest are the
family.
Ventru.
I have my
Isn't
family
that
tree
Giovanni?
done.
Oh shit, yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, obviously they're a close third
Yeah.
because fuck the Ventru.
I was enjoying how Teresa's
Actually
family has expanded over the last 100 years. It was even though not all of them are particularly nice individuals, it was like, wow, that's wow, things are going well.
Wait, what happened to
Working on that.
Atreus?
Atreus? What?
We've never included him. I was nebulous about who that is or who he might be,
you
but
have a
that was
point on
in
your sheet?
my character's like little, that questionnaire with the backstory.
Okay.
That is his contact in Constantinople, which I
Okay,
hope
so
we
it might-
go there before something happens to it.
What's going to happen to Constantinople? Oh, it becomes Istanbul. Fair.
Atreus
And then
introduced
First, it becomes on
Bastien.
fire. Then
How do you spell that? Unfair.
something about the door being left
Spoilers.
open. Atreus
History spoilers,
in the
yeah.
backstory. Yeah, Atreus introduced
Kratos to his axe.
Bastion to yes, that's it.
It's all I'm picturing in my
Bastion
head.
to Adrajai.
Ah, I see.
And then I left it open for you. Like I was just
The
like,
plot
hey,
thickens.
yeah, he knows this
Fair.
guy in Constantinople. He seemed pretty cool.
I'm gonna put
Only
a
hung out with
question
him
mark.
at night.
You have human listed. I'm gonna put a question mark behind that.
Because
It's
it's
been
been a few
200
hundred
There should
years
be
now.
there should be a question mark there. Yeah.
Yeah, there is now. So you guys asked me my favorite NPCs to play. I would say I've got 2 of them, and they're both insane. They're Lena is a lot of fun to play, especially now that she's a teenager. And then I would say probably Adrojai in terms of just
Adrojai.
playing them. Yeah,
So
Adrojai.
uncomfortable when you play Adrajai.
I love
I know.
I thought I was gonna be a freaky little guy, but he
It's like one
don't know how
part
to react.
Joker, one part Jared Leto, but the fun part.
The job you did with the sires in that first scene, it was just like, oh, this is real uncomfortable.
I'm glad. I
I
appreciate
like
that.
how uncomfortable
how you
he
do
made the
Micah,
other
too.
PCs.
I do like Micah Vikos as well, and that's going to get weirder as time goes on. I
Mm.
really do like playing Dominic and Clara as well because of the super incest vibes. I
Yay.
really enjoy most of the linked NPCs.
Mm-hmm.
And in the very last episode, I enjoyed playing the Verbena that encountered Alëna because that was a lot of fun just to be like this badass bitch human who didn't take no shit from no vampire, didn't care how
I
strong
didn't
you
know,
were.
I didn't know she was confirmed Verbana. So
Who knows? Who knows?
Yep.
There's only like 5 traditions back then, according to the Dark Ages book.
well, no, I didn't know she was full mage. She didn't
knows?
have to be.
Yeah, she could have just been belief.
Maybe she
He's
is
trying to throw you off. It's secretly a high guild.
Bi guild, the
High
guild of the
guild.
bisexuals.
No, the high guild.
Oh, the high
Guild.
guild is different than the bi guild, but they go to the same club.
Right, because it was the craft masons and the high guild and the syndicate.
And you're right, 666 crime. How is Tereza going to make a Revenant line without a little incest?
It's just that meme. The secret ingredient is incest. It's true. I'm sorry. Welcome. This is an adult game where we giggle
I
about this
mean,
shit.
like, I have my my family tree here. The lines are very close together. Well,
I mean, you're just saving space on the page.
It's true. It's true.
All right. So, is there an era of time that you guys are really looking forward to role playing in? Victorian age and modern?
I was gonna say Victorian and modern are my top 2.
Just the
I'm very
outfits. The
excited.
outfits are going to be fab.
I'm really looking forward to seeing if everyone survives, how they change into modern day and struggle with or adapt to it. I think that's going to be really interesting to see how these characters evolve, even if it's not well.
The hurdy-gurdy will never die.
Hurdy-gurdy
Everyone
will
loves
never
that
die.
sound.
The hurdy-gurdy just becomes the theremin. It just is a natural evolution.
It's in the next tech tree.
It's in the next. Yeah,
in the
exactly.
next era. Yeah.
Does anybody else have any answers for that one? Age they're looking forward to or event? I mean, the Anarch Revolt. I'm very much looking forward to the Anarch Revolt.
I'm looking forward to seeing, much like Chris said, kind of how things change. Not any particular time period, but how things shift and change over time. And the sorry, brain dying.
sorry.
how the like the formation of the Camarilla and Sabat and how we fit into all that.
And it's gonna be like
Ground floor, baby.
yeah, basically, like I don't see a way for you guys not to end up in the Sabat, but who knows? Like,
But I mean, like, just not even like, obviously, we're all monsters. We've acknowledged this, but we're all
Get
monsters.
out of
I'll just take out that we have all acknowledged this part. But like how forming the Sabat kind of influences our characters and all of that too.
Definitely, I would say Sabat leaning, but there's always the chance for Anarch.
no, Anarch suck.
Let's do Anarch.
Anarch suck. I won't run an
also,
Anarch game.
None
Like,
of you
they
can
suck.
play Anarch.
Also, I don't think we'd
no
go.
offense. I'm saying you can play it as a player, but
Mhm.
have you seen your characters? You're not. You
I
guys
also-
are Anarchs.
I also don't think we would go Anarch in the beginning. Like we might be
No.
independent
80s.
because we haven't signed on to anything,
Mm.
but we'd be
Mm.
leaning Sabat regardless.
Yeah, everybody goes in con you. They just go sit in a tower and
No, they don't exist.
Looking
it's just
forward
gonna-
to.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. No, go ahead.
I'm just gonna be me running Lair of the Hidden with another cast of people encountering your characters.
I mean,
Like, that's
Yes.
That would be great. Now I
You
really
would.
want
Anarch
us.
is not Camarilla light.
So after we're done like this chronicle, you're gonna run another game with other people, and we can all guest star, right?
Honestly, I
Yay.
would love,
Please.
I would love to run Lair of the Hidden with like 9 and like hired NPCs and then a cast of players. Like, I think that would be so good.
Oh.
Just be like, this is you. This is your character. You're going to be playing Hill. He's a Roman general who hates everybody. Go.
The one game that the one LARP that you never did that I really, really wanted you to do was the high school reunion.
That was, yeah, I was going to run, for those of you who don't know, I was going to invite as many people as I could. So given my track record, probably would have been like, I probably could have gone about 25 people, maybe 30 for it. And the idea was it was going to be a high school reunion. And in the middle of it, the Sabat was going to attack and shovelhead people. And it was going to be first a game to see who survives. And then afterwards, it was going to be a Sabat game.
Oh.
It was fantastic though the way he set it up, because like it was like high school reunion game, and then like a few months later, like it's just like, hey, you know what? He got a couple of people together and a few of us, and was just like, I was thinking of doing a small time Sabat game, and like so we started making the pack together and talking about that, and it was like, you know, it'd be a real good place to shovelhead people, Kelly. A high school reunion. And he was like, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up.
Shut up, shut up. I never ended up running it though.
Yeah, I remember a game. I can't remember. Maybe it was you, Kelly, running it. I don't know, but it was like the hospital shovel heading.
Ooh, the hospital shovelheading. Maybe?
Maybe it might not have
Maybe.
been, but I can't remember.
Maybe. It's a great place to shovelhead. Shovelheading's fun.
Mhm.
I encourage it. Tell all your friends. Okay. So if you had the choice to change your clan, what would you choose?
Oh, can I answer the last question before?
No.
we-
Maybe.
Oh shit.
Sure. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, I look forward to the like transition into the 20th century. That awkward period where there are cowboys, but also
and fax
electricity
machines and Abraham
and
Lincoln.
right
And samurais.
and samurai at the yeah.
Abraham
it's
Lincoln could send a fact machine to a samurai. Or send a fax to a
it's an
samurai, not a fax
awkward
machine.
like
Yes,
50-year period in there that would be really interesting to role play.
Oh, I know. I'm running a game in the middle of that period, and I'm like, there's so many weird fucking things I can do in this game. Like, it's wild, man. And not just the West.
Yeah,
But
like
also the
like
West.
everywhere during that time it was very it oh, and just like the interwars period after like World War One, it just that all of that would be
Man, that's
really
a cool
weird.
period until the next war.
There's a lot going on after that, but it gets overshadowed
feel-
by
I feel like we're just gonna skip a 20-year, 30-year span of time in this chronicle, and I'm just not going to ask what you guys were doing during it. You're monsters. Unless everybody decides to just be Nazi hunters, because somebody goes, we're monsters, but we're not fucking monsters. Then I'll run it.
I mean, honestly,
discipline makes
I could
them
see
taste
Alëna
good.
going Nazi hunting.
Right?
Yeah, same
You're
with
like,
Tereza.
how
Tereza
dare you
would
steal my-
also-
Yeah, like we may be monsters, but we still have a code of honor.
right?
I really, really
We're
want
monsters,
to run.
but we're human-ish.
There's a game I have on the shelf over here called what is it
Kill
called?
the Reich.
It's,
Eat the Reich.
yeah, Eat the Reich. And I really want to run it. It's
Really
you're a
wanna play
bunch
it.
of vampires who are dropped into Nazi-controlled Berlin. Your casket dropped, like paratroopers.
Like Halo
And-
dropped, but
Yeah, your Halo dropped in caskets, and then the game you have to play these specific characters, and the whole point is to kill as many Nazis as possible. And I can't wait. I've got my content warning for it, which is at the beginning I'll say, hello everybody, just letting you know this game does involve violence and it does include Nazis. However, I assure you, the longer you watch, the less that's a problem.
you had me at the title.
Oh wow.
Right? Eat the Reich is just
Eat the
mwah.
Reich. Guys, if you haven't looked at this book, we're not sponsored by them or anything, but go look up Eat the Reich. The art alone is just, it is the most avant-garde punk thing I've held in my hands in years. Do I have it nearby? I'll show it's just a, oh, hold on.
It's very cool.
It's very wee, but like,
Oh,
the year is 1943. You are a unit of crack vampire commandos coffin dropped into occupied Paris. You have one mission. Drink all of Hitler's blood.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, I
so...
so good.
it's so good. I'm going to run it. It's just
Eat the Reich
beautiful.
is a tabletop role-playing game in which you, a
Dibs,
vampire
dibs.
commando, are coffin dropped into occupied Paris and must cut a bloody swath through Nazi forces en route to your ultimate goal, drinking all of Adolf Hitler's
The
blood.
book is so
Ugh.
neon. It's great.
It's so neon
love
and
it.
it's so... Like, look, it even has a cutout for the cover.
Oh,
Like, it's so cool.
And
It's really amazing. You should check it out.
All right, what's the
all right.
fully
what's the next
funded in
question?
Kickstarter in 31 minutes. Wow.
Yeah,
Cool.
I backed it on Kickstarter. I was like, fuck yes, let's do this. It's one of those games where I just need a chance to run it. I've also got another game that would be really good called The Bleakness, which always confuses me because the writer is named Kelty, so every time I look up, I think my name's on it. All right, so with a K. If you had a chance to change your clan, which would you choose? I would choose a clan.
You would choose to be a player.
I would choose to be no, not in a vampire game. Maybe, I don't know. Vampire's not my absolute favorite. I enjoy running it for y'all, but I think I enjoy it much more as a storyteller than I ever do as a player.
Fair.
I was going to actually ask you something about that a little bit later. But,
Yeah, please put it on the list. Let's do it.
What clan would I choose? Well, I was originally thinking Rainald as a Bruja, and changing him to a La Sombra really changed how I originally thought about the character. I think the La Sombra fits a lot better with this particular party than the Bruja would have. Though I think, it's you don't often get a chance to... I find you don't often get a chance to like play in these long running like classic games. So the opportunity to play like one of the kind of outskirt ones that you don't normally get a chance to is really good.
La
But
Sombra are the
if I had
best
to
anyway.
choose, I would say Gangrel are still one of my favorites. La Sombra are great and actually are my number one, but
Salute
I think
than
I
La
would've-
Sombra.
I think I would have liked to maybe try something that I haven't done yet, but I've played a lot of vampire. I like me my vampire, so yeah.
You like to eat your vampire. Beautiful.
See, I was debating potentially Toreador or Bruja as one of the other concepts, going very classic vampire, romantic vampire kind of view, which would be very interesting with this crew. But definitely, I'm happy I went with Simisi for my first one. But Toreador is
Fits
one of
the
my-
setting.
Yeah, it fits the setting so much better, and honestly, it gives you, I think, a bit of a better chance of survival, if we're
Mhm.
being honest. Because Toreador are amazing, but they also go down quick in many, many ways. But tish. But no, they're pretty squish.
Still
like
have more
they're
combat disciplines than poor Bastion.
Poor
Bastion.
Bastion.
Yeah, the guy with the nuclear weapon built into him. Okay, sure.
What? Who, me?
What?
Bastion has all of us to stand in the front line. I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, you've got everybody else's disciplines.
I'll take
Yeah.
your combat disciplines and I'll raise you Alëna.
I'll take your Alëna and raise
Like
you
a Pokeball. Go!
Yeah. Hell yeah, now go.
I mean, if it's apt, yeah. Though, Chris, I will say for my so in my non-Dork Tales vampire game, I am playing a La Sombra, specifically an Abyss Mystic, and I just took the combo discipline, Armor of the Abyss, where you use Arms of
Yes.
Ahriman and wrap around yourself for armor.
Aw,
So good.
you give
you
yourself
seen
a
You basically
hug.
become Venom. I
Have you
realized.
seen the version that does it with potence for weapons and armor with fortitude?
Sheesh.
No,
There's
I haven't.
another version of it that you can do it with both. So you get your obtenebration rating. Like you make a sword out of shadow, and you're like, "Oh, I've got obtenebration 5, so that's a 5 lethal weapon."
Oh, yeah, okay. I thought I could already
lo-
do that with stuff I
Is-
had.
Is there a
But-
clan you would switch
Weird.
to or see?
I wouldn't switch Alëna to anything.
Yeah,
Alëna is
well.
gangrel through and through. I can't really
Quintessential.
if her basically if her history had been anything different, I could potentially see her going into a different clan, but I don't know what that would really be. If I chose a different a different character and did this, I mean, it provided we hadn't gone the Tzimisce route, I probably would have gone Tremere because I do actually like Tremere in
Yeah.
their own way. But it's fun to
They're
hate the
great
Tremere.
assholes. Like they're so much
Yeah,
fun.
they're great.
It's so much fun to hate.
It's taking all of the awful of the Order of Hermes and leaving a lot of it there, but taking a lot of it with you.
Super good. It's super good.
Yeah.
I was
All right.
this close to being Ravnos. And by this close, I mean I was just going to be Ravnos, but there was some back and forth between Kelly and I, and he is like, hey, I have a favorite clan. It might be a little bit harder to RP because it's my favorite clan. So it would have been like Ravnos just to see what I could do with illusions. Like,
Yeah.
it's only believable until they don't believe in it, right? But it would have been really fun to explore that. But I really like Salubri now.
They're so
And
good. They're so multifaceted.
And I just, yeah, I hope I'm doing it justice for Kelly.
So far, I mean,
I think you're doing a great job.
You did a great job. There's only a few Salubri left too, so
So
Can't
they
be-
say.
you can't be doing it that bad. I mean, you're one of the only ones left. So how would you think / role play? How does this work? How do you think? Kal, is this yours? Is this your question?
I have a
I would
question in there, yeah.
Yeah. So can you parse it?
I can parse it for you. So when thinking about this is more for Kelly, I guess, but everyone here because we've had to role play our NPCs or we've DM'd, story told. maybe this is like deep thoughts with the deep, but
Deep thoughts with the deep.
when you're saying, let's say Bastion's 160 at this point, but Lena's 140, right? How do
Mhm.
you think, or how do you go into the mindset of how a mortal's mind would age versus a dead / soulless creature like a vampire would age? Do you think it like just stays static and it
So
doesn't suffer like that? Or
according to the lore, your growth peters out, even if you're a ghoul, and you become more and more static as time goes on. Just according
so
to
it's a time
like,
thing.
it's a Curse of Cain thing that gets incorporated through the time. That just says that it's basically okay. Kal, once we get you into Mage the Ascension, you will learn more about stasis and entropy. And so there's a metaphysical triad in Mage that is dynamism, so creation, stasis, which is stability, and then destruction, which is entropy. And it's this big wheel between the three, right? Powered by the questing avatar essence. And vampires are like right at the corner of stasis and destruction. Like they're like... Some guy with a dirt bike outside my house.
I thought
Just
you
ripped one.
grunted for a second.
Yeah, I thought he was
I
going.
thought you were like. I was like,
This guy's doing laps.
Did he do a sick wheelie?
I'll have to shut my window if he
do
keeps
a
this up.
jump.
Sorry, yeah, you were saying about entropy and
So they're
destruction and
basically like
stability.
stuck in stasis and destruction, right? So the longer that they're there, the more static they become. And there's actually mechanics inside a vampire that show that, like, I believe it's when you hit the 500-year mark, usually, that for one, you slowly stop being able to drink human blood. You have to drink vampire blood only. Which is very problematic for player characters. But there is another one that is that your XP expenditures get more expensive because it's harder to change a paused mind. So I would say
that says about our current.
it's going to be slowly. It's going to be very slowly. You'll stop being able to eat animals at all soon. Actually,
No, I meant like the fact, like the game going on the fact that as you get older, you get more and more stuck in your ways because your brain is
And it-
literally incapable of making new connections.
oh,
It
that
just
it also
degrades.
it also says that about like our parents.
Yeah.
You become blood boomers.
Oh god, we're gonna become
God.
blood boomers.
Blood
That should be a
boomers.
unique clan. You know,
The
there's
blood boomers.
There's
But
the
that's
blood
one of
boomers.
that's one of the reasons why it kind of encourages some of the older vampires to try and sire younger ones, because like, you know, you come out torpor, the world has changed and you do not fit in. You need some sort of a proxy to kind of help you adapt and learn to it.
And that's a metaphor for having kids too, right? Like kids revitalize your sense of things. Like you're finding this out, right? That like seeing things through your kids' eyes is like re-experiencing them secondhand for the first time.
It's a lot of joy. It's
I bet.
a lot of
I bet
joy.
it is. I keep seeing videos of kids being shown Empire Strikes Back for the first time.
And they're like, why
And it's
is
just
this
like-
better than
Oh my god, I just thought about that moment. Oh
Yeah.
my god, I'm so excited for that moment.
Right. Well, and anybody who, look, I'm gonna tell you the honest truth right now. If you're watching this video, if you're watching it live, you're watching it later, and you are considering getting into running games, storytelling, or being a dungeon master, anything like that, if you have a creative bent, if the idea of showing a kid the twist at the end of Empire Strikes Back and watching their face about something you've known the entire time is enticing to you, that's why I do this for a living. Okay? That is literally the vibe that you get. You get to do that to your friends over and over and over and over and over and over and over. If they get invested in your stories, it is so pleasant. You watch the Shards of Nirn for many, like whenever I drop lore, I get that vibe. It's wonderful. So if you're looking for a reason to take the plunge,
Why I like It's why I like running zero sum for you, because I'm like,
Yeah.
watch Kelly.
Yeah, because you're
Is he
like
gonna-
you're
is he
like
gonna swear at me?
Formos.
Yep.
You bitch.
Yes, I saw you mouth. Fucking hell.
Yep.
But to find out more
That's
about
not a
Formos,
good
you need to
name.
subscribe to the Patreon.
The only time I've experienced that, one summer I worked at a daycare. It was just for a few hours. People would drop off their kids. They were younger, and it would be kind of like hang out with them, get them tired, like outside in the playground, bring them inside, make popcorn, watch a movie, and then maybe go in the gymnasium like after or back outside, right?
Okay. And you showed
and
them
I introduced them to Jim
the-
Henson,
Oh.
which a lot of parents were like, no, they didn't want me to like show them like the Dark Crystal or the
Wait.
Labyrinth.
To be fair, I'm just gonna throw Dark Crystal was one of the things that I think I was far too young to have watched when I did, because I had nightmares about those Skeksis and the weird bug things for a long time as a
It
very
was
little
showed them
kid.
the Labyrinth, not,
Yeah, that sound.
not the
Labyrinth,
Dark
fine,
Crystal.
but like the Dark Crystal, I don't know what it was, and like that sound,
Dark
that
Crystal was
sound you
freaky.
did, like with the Chamberlain. Yeah, nope.
Yeah, no, I
love
get
it.
that. I get that.
I love it, but it was like I definitely saw that too young.
Gelfling. And I introduced them to that, and some parents thought the kids were going to be scared. Man, did the kids love that I knew all the lyrics to all the songs in the Labyrinth. So that's when I got to experience like seeing like 12 kids like react to that for the first time, and they kept asking, why does this look like more realistic than like this? Oh, this is like when you were like a kid. And I'm like, oh, actually it's before I was born. And they're like, why does it look better than like CG now? I'm like,
Because it was
Because it's
fucking
real.
real.
it's
It was
practical.
practical effects.
Practical effects, jazz hands.
Wet puppets.
I just
wet
wanted
puppets.
to rant about that. Yeah.
Wet puppets.
I love me some wet puppets.
Speaking of wet puppets,
What?
Go on.
Tereza uses humans as wet puppets, I'm sure.
Oh, this is true. This is true.
Oh,
You saw my basement. You saw my dungeon.
Oh no.
There's
there'll
wet
be
puppets in your
cyberpunk.
basement, eh?
There'll be cyberpunk
Go
ghouls when we
Bros.
reach the future age.
Oh, that's true. They actually did put out World of Future Darkness, where you could have like cyberpunk Bruja and shit like that. It's ridiculous.
Wow.
Uh,
I got a question for you, Kelly.
yeah.
You mentioned that you don't really, vampire isn't really your thing, but you've been enjoying this crowd. What are the particular traits that have made this an enjoyable game for you to run?
You guys work together well enough to keep it engaging. I think that's a big one. I find that a lot of vampire games, particularly LARPs, but a lot of vampire games can become very backbitey and very like it becomes a free-for-all in a lot of games, and that, or it can be really catty and not in a
Catty.
fun way. I know a lot of people really like that about vampire games, about how it's
It
a
just
lot of
turns into
posturing.
clicks, though, like real
Well,
life
and
clicks. Yeah.
When I used to go to LARPs, right? When I used to go to live action vampire games, I would notice that I would get really bored pretty early on. And what it was is I would always play like cooperative characters for the most part, and a lot of people were very politically, socially maneuvery and really they'd play shitty people. And I mean, they're vampires, fair, but it would really bum me out because it would be like every other Saturday night I'd be doing this, and I'm like, why am I wasting my Saturday night with worse versions of my friends? Right?
Yeah, and then there's a lot of bleed, even if you don't want it to be.
Well, yeah, and then never, ever, ever sign up for a live action event where you are not friends with people is another one, because that, like, there used to be like a large one in this city where it would be like, you could just, anybody could come and join, and like, sure, some of it was pretty good, but there were a lot of internal cliques that formed, and
course,
it just, and it just led to a really toxic environment for a lot of people, and a lot of people still to this day, I think, probably hate each other because of events in the games. And that's not even talking about what happened in the old Camarilla back when it ran like the Sanction game. I've heard stories, man. And that's not even including the
That
actual
was
like
way
people
before my
on
time, and I've heard stories.
you've heard about the people on Vancouver Island, like the pair of guys that tried to like kill and eat the guy's parents.
No.
There were a couple of people in the Nanaimo, British Columbia, as this is a rumor I've heard, the Nanaimo, British Columbia
Of course, it's
Vampire the
Nanaimo.
Masquerade game. A guy brought a friend of his, and the friend was very unhinged and decided that he might be a real vampire.
As one
And
does.
this was the late 90s, and he was intending to unalive his parents and drink their blood.
I didn't know that was in BC.
Yeah, that was in Nanaimo.
I heard about that. Wow.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
I watched
It was
what video was it? You showed me a video
I showed
It
you a
was a
video.
video?
Yeah.
about
I think it
Bloodlines
was-
2 because yes, it was about Bloodlines, the video game, and then they talked about the World of Darkness. They talked about Vampire the Masquerade because it was about Bloodlines 2 and about that. Yes, that's the video.
Yeah, but anyway, so like Nanaimo just
Nanaimo
gotta chill.
is crazy. Nanaimo
Nanaimo's
is like well, I've
cray.
heard the
Nanaimo's the
Nanaimo's
Florida
best-
of the island.
It is. It really is.
I like their mall though.
Which
I like them
one?
all.
Woodgrove?
The good one. Yeah, Woodgrove.
Hillside? Not Hillside. Hillgrove. Hillwood. Northgrove.
Woodgrove. You
North-
got it right the first time.
No, Woodgrove and there's Northgate, I think.
Yeah, Northgate's like a strip mall. It's not very good.
Yeah, Northgate sucks. Woodgrove's the
Yeah.
No.
place.
The
What
one
up,
you
represent?
can get to from the highway as you drive up island.
Yeah.
The one that you know where it is. The other one, like,
Yeah.
I stumbled across it a couple
Who
times.
cares
but
about
that's it.
anything else? You know where that one is.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
I used to go to the
So-
chapters there. It was good.
Yeah, God, the chapters is good too. I'm a slut for a good bookstore. Really, like
Mhm.
there aren't as many of them as I would like, which is
I
why
really liked the one downtown.
the one downtown was really good. Were you talking about
Yeah.
Russell's?
Yeah. Or yeah.
It's still around. They just moved into a Staples.
Yeah.
It's not as good anymore. But you know what is good? Powell's Books in Portland. If you ever are down in Portland, it's a 4-floor, like, what, 2-city block or more sized bookstore. It's amazing.
Oh my.
Used and new. It's so good. It's so good. I got stranded in Portland at a layover once, and it was like 13 hours between flights. So my girlfriend at the time and I rented a car and drove into Portland, got some dinner, went to Powell's. It was a really nice night. And then we went to Hawaii. It was great.
Nice.
Powell's is
Hooray.
dope. Yeah, it was pretty good. Powell's is dope as shit though. Go to Powell's. I hope it's still good.
So I think
I-
the answer to the question is the fact that we are playing shitty people, but we work together still as friends to be shitty to
Well, and
other
also-
people, not
and also-
ourselves.
Yeah, and you're working with me to tell a collaborative story in the long run, right? Like we want to explore the same stories, we want to look at the same things, and we're working collaboratively. It doesn't feel like there's any antagonism behind the scenes. And I love that.
Yeah.
I was
but I-
watching a Matt Colville video about being a good PC and like how the fact that DMs in the 90s were called referees because
Right.
there was that adversarial kind of notion to it versus now it's
More
he
cooperative.
called it
which I
he
think-
uses the word director a lot and I'm like that's interesting. I like that actually for the
Well,
like
that's
I-
always been my
general
style.
storyteller is director.
That's why I
I've really
like your
enjoyed.
style.
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed what I felt like with this game that we have characters who are good at some things, some characters who are kind of similar in some of those things, but not everyone is. So it's like there's people start throwing hands. It's just like Alëna, Tereza, I'll stay behind and just kind of like take care of the little guys. Like something
I'll do
needs
their last
stealth, we gotta-
rites.
Alëna, yeah, I'll give them their last rites. Alëna, Bastien, like we need some sneak going on. Like, but it really has felt like people have let like not tried to like one up each other in that kind of a way, and kind of like, hey, here's your moment, I'll just kind of, you know, have fun in the back, like kind of thing. And I think that's something really good that I've enjoyed seeing
I love
with this. We let people, the other players seem to like push the spotlight on each other a little bit in subtle ways, and I've really enjoyed that.
I love Betty's comment in the chat right now, working together to be even more shitty, but together.
Yeah.
I love that. I think that the other thing that really encourages me about this game is, and this is definitely pandering, but it's you, right there, the chat. You guys are really invested in this game, and you're very enthusiastic, and it is every time we miss a session, every time where I'm not feeling like I'm going into a game 100% prepared or 100% like I've had a bad day or something like that, your enthusiasm is really infectious, and it really carries through. So I really wanted to thank you for that. It is a pandery answer, of course, but it's Vampire. We got panders, you know, just they don't show up until like the 90s. But yeah, it is. It's awesome to have that type of enthusiasm and have such a wonderful community. And I'm never bored when I'm running this game. I've been in a lot of Vampire games where I'm bored.
Yeah.
Well, even like the slow scenes are just so like they just
Moody.
ooze rather than like drag. They're oozing the entire time versus like dragging along. It's just like it doesn't feel slow.
To kind of add to Chris's comment, like I think that the way we built our characters and having a session 0, and we made sure our characters all kind of have their own zone of like what we do well, and not that we kept them there, but we definitely are all aware of everybody's strengths and weaknesses, and so we can kind of push each other out when we need to.
Yeah, I think it's been personally, I think this has been a fantastic group, just for the way everything like gets along. I love this game. I'm so happy to be back.
Me too, and it's really funny. So an example of kind of like initially like with the initial build, I know initially that like Chris as Rainald was going to be more of the like manipulator kind of leader-esque.
He's great.
Well, he was like very much like mental, but like it's funny because I've actually started. I didn't initially have any points of dots of leadership because I'm like, oh, that's Rainald kind of thing. But Rainald is so in the back, like undercurrent, where Tereza's has become the like figurehead of
Tereza's
the group.
The face.
She's the face, and so I've taken some dots in leadership because of that. But initially, I didn't because that was like Chris's thing. But because of like the way it shifts, where it's like, yeah, we both have dots in being able to have that leadership manipulation, but it's in such a different way that it never steps on anyone's toes. And it was at the like Rainald pushing Tereza to be the leader, where I was like, okay, I'm the face, guys. I'm the face.
And to be completely honest, a lot of that was like how I tried to reimagine him as a La Sombra instead of a Bruja. Like, because I was expecting to kind of be like that, and then I was just like, no, I'm the advisor, I'm the keeper. I kind of like work from the shadows, and it's just like, yeah, here's my friend Tereza, who's out in front, and if you fuck with her, well, watch your back.
You need to watch your front, your back, your side, like everything.
Everyone's been talking about the characters and how well, but and Kelly was talking about pandering, but I want to back Pat the group. I think this could have not been fun, but the players, not necessarily the characters, all understand the vibe, all understand sharing like the spotlight. Not even just sharing the spotlight, like the tone, like the what we want to explore in it, like without really digging that deep. It's like Kelly says, right? Like well, who do you want in the game? Like who vibes and who goes with it? And it's like, I can't really think of another set of like 3 play. And Kelly knows us enough that he can do things without worrying about
he
there
can
being
throw
trust
things
being
at
broken.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can throw things at us, and we have a very it was a very natural intrinsic knowledge of who fits in this position for doing things, and it was very
Yeah.
I've never clicked so fast for like knowing who's doing what basically in the
Yeah,
group. And
we did have a lot of practice with Dragonlance at least, but
This is really true.
but it definitely came over very easily.
listen,
to
Riz
a
is
different
very
system.
different than Tereza, though.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah,
Isn't just
Bastian's
Tereza's
so
just
much
what
like
Riz
Orantiros
was?
that I'm basically playing the same character, right?
Same character. You drink slightly less blood.
Less blood
as
as
Bastien.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That was implied.
Yeah, that was a plot.
That's what Orantiros's like makeup was just blood. Like
oh, it's just different creatures'
Blood.
blood. Yeah.
Oh,
So here's-
God.
So speaking of like
Pacifist Orantiros.
yes.
so speaking of this cast working well together, what happens if one of you dies? So that's the big
Gonna play
question.
Carl.
Do you well, but here's the thing. Do you
Carl?
play Carl, or do I bring in like Michael to play Carl?
I have
Michael
to
would be
admit,
such a good Carl.
Michael would be a
Carl.
very good Carl.
And Traz would be a
don't
good
want
Baba.
to lose all of you. I'd want to add people than subtract if we died. I would love to play like either like my kin down the line,
Or someone else's
But-
childer? Is that the word? Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. What I always wonder, because so from a production standpoint, like if we were just sitting around a table, it wouldn't be a big deal. It'd be like, okay, cool.
No.
Once you die, we just, you'll continue on as a different character. You might take a week off,
Yeah.
Something
Tereza Jr.
like that.
shows up. and-
But does that lessen the stakes for a show like this? Like for an actual play is slightly different. So viewers, commenters, let us know. So does that lessen the stakes if, say, that Kal will be here every week, even if Bastien isn't? Is that as exciting? Would you like it to be that, if you die, you're just dead?
I feel like it gets worse the longer we go.
Yeah.
Like, as we get into like the 1900s and suddenly Tereza dies and we have one of her child, or it's like
One of
that's
her
not
ghoul pigs.
the same.
right? That's not Tereza.
Mm.
It's gonna be weird. Like
I think,
because I want to be through the 800. I want to get.
yeah,
I don't know if she will, but I want
Have you
to.
seen all of the? Here's an. Sorry, I don't want to interrupt. Go.
Oh, I was thinking if Rainald were to die, I would love to have the opportunity to play another character. However, I think even if it was just for a little bit, throwing somebody else in for a while might be an interesting thing to see how that like changes the dynamic, and it's especially depending on what they were going to play or something else. I know that's not always there's a lot of logistics involved with that, but
Maybe like
I think that
seasonal
would be,
cast.
I think that would be interesting to see happen. Not that I want it to, but it would be
Brando in
it
the
would
chat
be
has
really
summed
neat.
it up perfectly. Tereza dies in 1998, and then Robin plays a Eurotrash raver for the last year.
Oi, Gov. What's
Oi,
like
Gov.
all this red
Let's fucking
moon?
go, mate. Chav, just chav.
No, it would be one of those scenes that you see sometimes in comics where like, or in cartoons where this kind of loudmouth, like potentially undesirable character shows up and starts mouthing off, and then one of the main ones just punches them in the face. That would be all you
With
know.
Potent 7.
Yeah.
They fold
them
into
into
their own
mist.
dimension and vanish.
Protean 7,
Like
I
that
just
one
mist form
stand
inside
in
your body
Jojo.
and tear you apart.
It's what everyone
Um,
wanted Endgame to be.
Here's what I think. So I don't know if any of you have caught it. There's a bunch of anti-actual play TikToks and tweets this last like month or so being like, oh, like we know they're not going to die, kind of like how we knew the youngest Stark wasn't going to die in Game of Thrones, and how we knew
Okay.
like Jon Snow wasn't going, like all of that or whatever. And it's like, well, there is that part as well where it's like, you know, and like Dragonlance, art's expensive and all of that, and people, but the thing is, people also want to follow it like it's a novel, and if you play it like a table, right? Oh, whatever, I'm just gonna roll an identical barbarian, and instead of
Or in Turos.
Phil, instead of
Bastion Jr.
or in Turos, yeah.
Or
And
in
he comes
Turos,
out and he like looks the same and has the same
Thrazira.
outfit.
Ter-
Brazira.
No, Trezira, the third one.
Oh, Trezira.
Tereza Jr.
Tereza Jr.
Mod free.
Mod free.
Mod free. But
No, God 3.
Um,
God 3 is the third one.
there is a fun, and also I'm going to contradict myself. It's fun in
Also-
some ways and not fun in some way, in other ways. When you play D&D and you're like, oh, I'm dead, and then the rest of the session you re-roll, the danger is fun that the DM's not pulling punches. I understand that part, but how about not playing a character for a year and having them die
In a dumb way.
in a dumb way? And so my follow-up was out of character, so nobody else like knows. Maybe it's a reveal. I've seen other players cry where with the storyteller I'm like, hey, maybe they should die trying to save their like partner, and like let's make it like really epic, or
Yeah.
something like that. If Kelly and I are talking on the side and we have a plan, right, I think that can be really touching
It's
for the
got to
story
be
and
completely
completely change the other PCs.
Well, and we did that
Mhm.
in Cyberpunk. If you watch that, we were going into the last episode, and I approached one of the players, and I was like, "Hey, how do you feel about dying in a really awful way?" And the player was like, "What do you mean?" And I'm like, "Okay, you know, like heroic deaths. What about the opposite of that? What about like you're this badass cyberpunk who spoilers for our Cyberpunk Red game. Skip 30 seconds ahead if you don't want to hear it. But if you basically the equivalent of you die in a liquor store robbery. Like someone tries to rob her
bullets
and
still
just
beat
shoots her
bullet.
in the face. And it's like, oh, well, she's dead. Oop. Right? Because the game is so, you're so OP in the game, but to bring that humanity back to it would be a really
And that
poignant
fits
ending.
Cyberpunk.
It's Cyberpunk.
Unceremonious like spoilers for Cyberpunk 2077. I was so angry that Best Buddy dies in a car bleeding out. I'm so angry, and then he's replaced like hipster like ponytail guy.
Yeah, the
Like
guy that
Best
looks like you.
Buddy. He kind of does.
He looks like beefier you.
He's me if I put on like 20 pounds of muscle and 15 pounds of fat. He's
40 pounds of muscle. That guy's a fucking fridge.
He's a tank. And it killed
Jackie.
me that he's just dumped in a car. And then the taxi driver's like, shall I dump the body for you? And you're like, I guess bring it to his mom's house. That fucking sucks. A taxi is just like, well, out you go. And a spring shoots a body out onto your
Yeah, it's
body.
later.
onto
You can
your
use it as a
mom's
summon
front
against
yard.
enemies.
That feels
That would've been
cyberpunk. Right?
Yeah, I think
And-
deaths, character deaths, like in D&D, I think it's a bit. I think having not necessarily scripted deaths, but having this open line of communication with your storyteller of ways of potential like impact, because no character wants to die tripping on
Bar
a
soap.
banana peel. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were
Uh,
gonna say tripping on jet or
Yeah.
Not
Like
yet.
it just
Soon.
yeah, exactly. It's just like you don't want to necessarily have, especially after a long campaign, because people get really tied to the characters.
have it be meaningful. So if one
Yeah.
of us went,
Mhm.
it
It would be at a pivotal
even
moment. It would be like I love the idea that you could do like say that I'm gonna pick something random so that I'm spoiling the plot, but say that you were at like the Battle of Gettysburg, where Ventrue rises from the grave and like commands an army of Confederate soldiers, and that's a big World of Darkness plot point. We'll say it's not, but say it was, and
should be.
Rainald dies there. Suddenly, this pivotal moment in vampire history for your character is no longer like the Battle of Gettysburg, which is featured in 6 White Wolf books. It's the battle where Rainald died. It casts a shadow over that moment. So like the Week of Nightmares, how much more powerful would the Week of Nightmares be if Bastien died in the middle of it? It would be like, oh, balls.
Well, like going into
Oh,
the battle
makes it real.
with Lord
Mhm.
Soth at the end of Dragonlance, I was fully prepared to lose Rosera. I'm like, if I lose here, we die trying to save the world. This is like a
No,
death.
Big
It's
B's
at the end of
hand,
the campaign.
telekinesis. Fuck you.
Exactly. We got it. We slam dunk Soth. But if that didn't happen that way, I was fine with it, because I knew that it would be meaningful for the character, and it would suck, but I would be satisfied with how that character went, because it was important.
Yeah,
So-
it'll be the
Same.
same with Vecna, right? Like,
Oh,
we
yeah,
don't know
with
how that's
Vecna.
going to end, but I expect
gonna
that
make
if any of our characters die in the final fight, it's going to be meaningful.
Yeah.
And not even necessarily real quick before we run on, let's say like partway through you got to see where you wanted to see Tereza. Sometimes it doesn't have to be a character dying. Like what if you were like, can Tereza go into torpor,
Mhm.
right? Because she's like, oh, she's starting to get crazy, needs to go in the big sleep, right? But you play Dominic, you play
Yeah.
Lena, you something like
Yeah.
that
Mhm.
could also
I
That could
think
be
that
good.
could be really
That-
cool.
that's a good point. I think that would be like that would be actually, I think, a great point to like step back
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
like, oh, Teresa's in torpor for 100 years. Well, shit. All right, cool. Like, and like that, I think that'd be a cool point to see like Michael come in and be like, I'm Carl, or
It is
whatever.
a good point to bring guest stars in, right? To see how
Yeah.
they do.
Yeah, which would be
just
really
to-
cool.
Doesn't mean that they're gone, but then they wake up and they're like, "What is electricity?" It it'd
What
be
is
interesting.
this B-bar?
What is this beaver? It's what every hat's made of now. All right, so we got one last question that we're going to go over, and that is any famous vamps from WoD lore that you would like to meet, Kane?
Beckett.
I'm with
I mean, sure, but also
showing me
terrifying.
yes and no for Kane.
We
I'm
met-
like,
It is the
met
blood
Sasha
of Cain
Vicos.
that drives us.
Yeah.
And Lucida.
Mm-hmm.
Lucia. Sorry.
I think it'd
we
be
met
cool to
her.
meet Jesus. He like wakes up, he's an antediluvian. He's like, "Hey, second coming of Christ. Bet you didn't see that one coming." That's more in Wildfire. That's a very Wildfire thing. He's like, "How's it going, dudes?
I think Beckett
Heard a
would
lot
be really
about
cool.
you. Need
Just
to eat you.
Like to see
Sorry."
Kelly roleplay Beckett.
Yeah, I would have to
Oh.
practice that. I'd have to practice Beckett. You might see Beckett yet. Who else would be good?
Yes, Brando. No, we're gonna kill Nazis during that point.
This is true. Other characters
Jesus
that are
is
really
Tremere.
great from the lore. I don't know. Sorry,
While
I
Kelly's
swallowed.
regaining his his breath there.
That was a noise. I'm
we,
sorry.
We were talking about the problems with loving playing Vampire, but the problems with it being a large player LARP. I hate that too, which is why I invited two of my fellows here to do my own vampire
With blackjack
smaller
and hookers.
vampire life with blackjack and hookers. Actually, both of those things happened. And it was called Wildfire, and the premise was you guys can be like jerks, but like there is no like real infighting. You guys are all like homies. You're all filthy caitiff.
It's all outfighting. So much outfighting.
It's all outfighting, outsourcing. Yeah, outsourcing the vampire angst.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Honest
that was
answer.
fun while I ran it.
Oh my god, though, like the fact that so there's a thing about Jesus just ghouling people, and I'm like, that's why they're so fanatic.
No,
Exactly.
let's not go there.
the
I would
Saints.
Prince LaCroix.
I was going to say LaCroix. I was going to ask you, Kelly, who would you like most? Like, what kind of vampire would you most like? What NPC from lore would you most like to portray?
Can you tell him to make his pop better?
I can't tell you because tell me to make my what better?
LaCroix's
LaCroix
pop better.
Oh, LaCroix. I can't actually tell you because it's a spoiler for this. But it's a character that I've played before on other streams.
Potentially noobish question for you people that know vampire more than me. Dracula, actually a vampire in World of Darkness?
I can't
just
answer
say
this
anything.
question.
Okay.
Yes, I think is that
I
answers
own
that
his
question.
city.
Yeah.
See, Tereza's
I
trying
know
to.
the Belmont's real.
Yes.
Yes. But there's
should
something
be.
completely different in my world usually. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So
Mm.
it's true. Just a very famous, not Nafandi mage. Hey folks,
Uh-huh.
thank you so much for tuning. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Behind the Scenes Talking at Transylvania Chronicles. We'll be back next week with the actual game, and it's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. I hope that you come and enjoy it as we go and meet Goratrix. I'm very excited to be getting back into this. And I can't wait until we go further down the line. The funny thing about these books is that they're actually not that big. So we only have, there's 4 parts to this book, I believe.
Yeah,
no, 3
we just
parts.
suck
I think
at
so,
going
yeah.
through the pages.
No, we're going through the pages faster than other games have.
It's really true. Yeah.
I feel like we're dragging our feet sometimes at it. Like we probably could faster, but this is just a blast. Like
It's
just
fun.
the RP.
It's too much fun. Yeah, the RP is too much fun.
I like actually developing like stuff in the timeline that doesn't really necessarily have to do with the actual plot because it makes it feel
Yes.
more real.
It's more fun than the plot. Let's
Absolutely.
be honest.
Yeah.
And I like little time jumps that aren't part of the book to catch up on. Like if we were slow, little time jumps are fun because then it's like for humans that's like a big deal, and this is how like technology develops or like whatever. But like, what did you do in the past 5 years? I don't know.
I invented
saw
the new
a bunch
code.
of bodies in the well. I really
I
like
spent
that.
the
by
last
the way,
5
Kelly.
years just digging this hole. That's all I've done.
A
Look how
diggy
big
hole.
it is.
A diggity hole.
Diggy diggy
That's
hole.
it's a big hole.
Hey, folks.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go on. You
No,
got it.
I was just gonna say, I don't know if you improv'd it, but finding
Everything.
the when we went out off into the Muhammad lands or whatever we were calling them, the what are the demon clan? My brain.
Oh, the Bali?
Bali.
setting up. When you had that like pit and you described like the visions and like what they saw and stuff like that, that was oof.
That was improv. I didn't know you were going out there before a game. You told me midway through, and I'm like, I'm stealing something directly from the Bali clan book that I remember reading in my first year of university inside of a Hastings in Joplin, Missouri.
that was freaky.
It was very freaky to read. Don't nobody under 18 read the Bali clan book. Nobody, just don't do it. It's not a good idea. It's a great time. Do it.
Just
But,
be content warned.
be
Yes.
content warning. This was before content warnings, and it deserved one. I think the only content warning on the thing was that it had the Black Dog Game Factory logo on the
Yeah,
back.
I was going to say
That's
they
the clo-
had Black Dog.
But that's the closest thing to a content warning you got, right? Was just saying, oh, that's a different company made this one. I wonder why. And then you open the page and someone's giving birth to a lot of bugs. And you're like, mother.
Perhaps I should close this.
Oh, no.
Mommy?
Perhaps I should read the whole
Mommy?
damn thing because I was transfixed.
Yeah.
But that's why I no longer have nightmares, which is odd. But hey, you know what? It's because I have too many dreamy people on our Patreon. I want to thank everybody who supports this channel, and in particular, I want to support our patrons at patreon.com/dorktales. Stick around till I name some names, and I'll tell you something really special. First of all, I got to thank my mom, who is our divine producer, our demonic producers, Precarious, Mysterium MK, and Sorcerer Sanguine, our wizards of the Patreon, Tammy the Forever Cleric, the Ink Goblin, and Karasha Urquhart, our monster maker, Soul Omen, and our High Council of the Patreon, Taryn, Dustin, Amberthist, Raven with Baubles, Chef Aladeth, LaRook, Kelowna Curd, Mike Baxter, Iridian, Brian Kaler, and Nerdy Metal Gent. You guys are all amazing. Thank you so much. And thanks to everybody who supports us on Patreon. Thank you very much, Kat, as well.
I just want to give a quick shout out, and people can go see it in our Discord in Second Gen Gamers Kender Court or whatever it's called.
Mhm.
Kelowna Curd is working on a Hoopak, and there's pictures of
beautiful.
it being made. It's so cool. So thank you, Kelowna Curd. I'm so
Oh,
excited
that's
for
so
that.
cool.
That's beautiful. Hey, you guys are all amazing. And the special spoiler is if you are on our Patreon, we are just wrapping up Technocracy Zero Sum. The final full episode was last week. And then it looks like the final epilogue, debrief, whatever we're calling it, will be on the 8th of September, probably. But after that, we don't have any more Mage on the Patreon. Or any other World of Darkness content.
Gotta fix it.
Yeah, I think it's going to have to be fixed. I might already be casting for it right now. So you definitely want to join up because around January, we're going to have a brand new series or two that are going to be monthly games. And they're going to be more regular than the monthly games we've had recently because of just life. But I think you're really going to like them. They're going to be exploring some parts of the World of Darkness that I know you want to see. So I will tell you more about that when we get closer to the day. But, you know, consider joining up. And with that, we'll see you next time, Vamps. See you later, Family. Bye.
Blah.
Oh god, I have to cough so much.
Sorry, where in the Discord was the Hoopa?
It's in the like some of the it's in I'll at you. Where it
Don't
is,
at
but
me,
it's in
bro.
the-
Laura, let's
At
go
me.
rate
At
Perceptive
us.
Studios because they
Tag me
rated
in
us the other
everything,
day.
otherwise I won't notice.
So, chat,
Biggie,
I'm going to do a world building stream tomorrow at noon for at least 2 hours. I was going to go from this game to streaming, but I'm coughing too much, so I don't think I want to be on camera because this is really hurt. Yeah, it's the Mio stuff got into my lung, and now
you did that. Oh,
it's burning. It's bad, man. I don't know what's in this, but it's bad.
That's the flavor shots, right?
Oh, it's the crystal light ones. Yeah, so it's like a lemonade mix in my lung, and it's like, it's blackberry lemonade, and it burns, folks. So it's a great weapon to use against your enemies if you believe in chemical warfare. All right, so hey, I love you all so much. I will see you very soon. We're back on Friday night with Vecna, Eve of Ruin, or Adam of Ruin. I don't know. Like, let's just come watch
Steve
Vecna.
Run.
Steve of Ruin. Dave
God
of
damn it,
Ruin.
Steve.
God damn it, Steve. It's Steve Deathray of Ruin. All right.
I'm gonna name my Sunblade Steve.
Do it.
Yes.
There
No,
we
it's
go.
the rod. The
Steve
rod is named Steve.
Deathray. Steve Deathray.
Steve Deathray. Good night, everybody.